Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our Why Try webinar today. Appreciate you all being here. Excited to have you all on as guests, and this is a fun opportunity for us today. We're going to be talking about, I think, a pretty important topic, and it's always fun when we get to model some of our approach around that. So welcome, everybody. The plan today will be to go for about an hour. And we are on a webinar link, which means that only the two panelists that we have, Corey and myself, are the only ones with live cameras and microphones. So for those that are wondering if that is right, that they don't see themselves, that is accurate. You won't be seeing yourself. You'll only be seeing us. What we will do to help create connection between all of us together, we're going to lean heavily on the chat. That will be a key part of it. So to help with that, it's helpful if you all will make one slight setting adjustment in your chat. Some of you won't have to make the change, but for some reason, some of your default chat settings will need to be adjusted. Open up your chat box where you type a message. Right above where you type your message, it says to, and then it says everyone, or to whoever you're sending it to. If it says anything other than to everyone, please consider adjusting that so you're sharing your comments with everyone. If it only says to hosts and panelists, then only the panelists can see your comments. And a lot of times there's really good content in the comments that it's helpful for everybody to be able to see. So to do a quick check-in, let's have everybody just type into the chat. Type into the chat three words or less that describe how you're feeling about the remaining part of the school year. Three words or less. We'll do a 3-word or less response, and 1 word's perfect. Okay, excited is wonderful. And this will also give me a chance to take a quick look at oh, Courtney, you may have won.
I missed it. I better scroll back up.
So just a quick heads up.
Nice, Sandra.
Kim, yours is set to host and panelists. No stress if it's difficult to switch over. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Worry but calm. I can relate to that. Okay, great job, everybody. Counting days to spring break is right. I have a good friend that's an assistant principal at the local middle school here that my daughter attends, and I ran into him the other day, and asked him how he was doing, and he goes, "I'm just counting the days till spring break." And I was like, "And then what?" And then he's like, "Then I'm just counting the days till summer hits." We all have those milestones, right? And kind of the emotion and the behavior that seems to coincide with all of those calendar milestones. So anyway, thank you all for being here today. This is one of our Why Try webinar series episodes that we're hosting. And today we are going to be discussing strategies for building problem-solving skills and improving student resilience. And what we decided to do for this is we are going to highlight some of the approach that we take to teaching specifically the skills of resilience. So our panel today consists of myself and then Corey Anderson. Let me formally introduce Mr. Corey Anderson. Corey has spent over 2 decades as an educator. Began as an ESL paraprofessional at a Title I school. He oversaw the paraprofessionals during school hours, managed after-school programs. He graduated in education, became a teacher, and then an administrator, and he worked as a 5th and 6th grade teacher in Spanish full immersion program, teaching core subjects in Spanish, as well as developing additional curriculum for the program. And then as an administrator, he pioneered and started one of the first public STEM programs in the state of Utah and helped consult with the State Office of Education on creating standards for schools that would eventually be adopted by the STEM Action Center During his tenure as an elementary school principal, he oversaw behavior units, led implementation on systems of support, enrichment, academic programs, activities, etc. Joined the Y-Tri team in 2019, where he works as a trainer and program director, as well as director of curriculum. Wears a lot of hats, is really important to the organization here, and obviously brings a wealth of experience. Corey, thank you for joining.
Thank you, Jason. I'm excited to be here.
And then I am Jason Johnson. My background is worked in public ed as well as a school psychologist. I came over to the Y-Tri organization about 8 years ago. My background and my area of expertise is around the topic of resilience. Had some research published on adolescent resilience, and I think that the common passion and approach to resilience is what created, I think, a natural attraction between Y-Tri and myself. Used some of the Y-Tri resources as a school psych, and then came over to the organization about 8 years ago. And I currently am the director of training and research. Have the awesome opportunity to be able to connect with educators and mental health professionals throughout the country by way of training, webinar, conference, etc. So really excited to be here and be on with one of my good friends, Corey, to get into this with you. So as I mentioned, today we are going to be exploring the Y-Tri approach to the skill of problem solving. And for those that may not be familiar, our organization has been around for about 20 years. We specialize in teaching the skills and the sources of resilience. And we have kind of a specific approach that we follow when it comes to teaching the skills of resilience. And so problem solving is one of those skills. To give a little more context, I'm going to jump over to a live look at our toolkit. And I think this is helpful because it shows how we've organized our approach to resilience. And whatever approach you take with resilience, I think it is very helpful to have outlined a real organized approach to it. So what we've done is we've taken resilience and boiled it down to kind of 10 overarching key skills of resilience. And then we have a specific approach to how we try to teach those skills. So you can see that approach includes things like specific content that we deliver, as well as specific delivery strategies. We feel that how we deliver content is just as important as what we deliver. And so in this case, we are going to be looking at the skill of problem solving. Let me show you where that exists within the kind of the overall outline of our skills of resilience. So I'm going to open up a slide deck here to give you an overview of all of those skills of resilience and show you where that particular one lies. There we go. All right. So with these skills of resilience, the 10 skills of resilience that we really highlight are decision-making, positive self-image, emotional regulation, having a resilient mindset, which really involves how we view our challenges, peer influence and relationships. They have a massive impact on a person's resilience. The research is really clear about that. Problem solving is a key skill of resilience. Hard work and determination, responsibility, expectations, and I would add self-discipline to that. Relationship building, which kind of builds on the previous peer influence and relationships section. In one of those, we explore a lot about the influence of peer pressure, positive and negative peer influence. And then in the other one, we're really exploring identifying positive systems of support, kind of relational systems of support. And then the last skill of resilience that we dig into is the concept of self-efficacy, which is when a person really believes that they can influence their outcomes. It's really connected to like hope and confidence. And so today we are going to highlight one of the most common ones that comes up. Corey and I both get the opportunity to train throughout the country, educators and mental health professionals. And we typically, as part of our training, will workshop what are the current challenges that you're dealing with right now. And inevitably, and then we'll also workshop what assets or skills do your students need. And inevitably, one of the most common responses I get whenever I'm out anywhere in the country and ask what educators believe their students really need right now as a skill of resilience, that term problem solving comes up a lot. So we thought it would be timely to do a walkthrough of what our approach is, at least parts of our approach towards teaching problem solving as a skill of resilience. And then we actually are going to be able to, we're going to share some of the resources that we show you today as well. For all of you, we'll put up some information at the end for how you can get access to some of these, because we want to share them, get them in your hands, get you out there using them as well. So that's kind of the plan of how we're going to move forward. I don't think I have anything else to add on that. Corey, anything you'd like to add before I completely throw it over to you?
Nope, I'm ready.
All right, Corey, why don't you get us started?
Okay, I'm going to get us started. Let me share my PowerPoint here. Ta-da. There we are. I'm ready to roll. Okay, friends. So as Jason stated, problem solving, I'm going to ask you to really participate in this section, doing some different things. I want to start off by asking the question. We've identified and said that problem solving is one of the skills of resilience. In the chat window, how would you support that statement? Like, why would problem solving be a skill of resilience? What do you think? Why would you classify that or qualify that as a skill of being able to be resilient? Any thoughts there in the chat window? I'd love to hear what you guys think. Why is problem solving a skill of resilience? Thank you. Thanks for the things coming in. Adriana, just so you know, we're the only ones who saw that. If you change your chat settings, everybody will be able to see your answers, but appreciate what you're writing there. Yeah, I like it, right? Like, Rainey, that one right there, if I can solve a problem, it's going to prevent me from maybe giving up, which is kind of the opposite of being resilient, right? Resilient people able to work through tough problems. Love it. Yeah. Making everyday choices. Okay. It does take critical thinking skills. Seeing problems as growth. Yeah, I like it. Great answers there. Okay, so thanks for kind of setting the stage there. I want to ask you another question to kind of highlight this a little bit and to really drill down to what we're talking about. So for this, I'm going to ask you to take notes on your own for a moment, meaning hopefully you have a piece of scratch paper, a sticky note, anything. And if you have to do it in your brain mentally, that's fine as well. But the first thing I want you to do is I want you to think of something that you have accomplished in the last 3 months that you are proud of. Think of something that you've accomplished in the last 3 months, which, by the way, it doesn't have to be like some big, huge life event. It could be something really simple. For example, Jason knows this. I have this new hobby of aquascaping, and I've really wanted to do it for a long, long time. And I finally got it going. I finally have my tank going with this whole aquascape landscape. I'm very proud that I got it rolling. I wouldn't say it's perfect, but I got it going. That would be something in the last 3 months that I'm proud of. So hopefully everybody has that. I'm going to give you about 10 more seconds to think of something that you are proud of. You don't even have to put it in the chat window yet. But I love it, Joanna. Great example there. Okay, now this is what I want you to do. I want you to take that thing that you are proud of, that you have accomplished, and I now want you to think of 2 things that you had to solve or overcome in order to accomplish that thing. I'm assuming it wasn't just easy. I'm assuming that there were some steps to that process, some things you had to overcome, some problems you had to solve along the way to accomplish that thing. Now, this is what I would like you to do. If you feel willing, which, by the way, you may have put something down private and you don't want to share it in the chat window, which is totally fine. You can just use it to reflect. But if any of you are willing, in the chat window, will you write the thing you accomplished and the 2 problems you had to solve along the way? Go ahead and put that in the chat window. Oh, nice. Yeah, I love it, right? Like it's scary to work with those high pressure machines. You're scared about it. You probably read through the instructions multiple times and just made sure everything was set. Catherine, I love your example because it's kind of one of those maybe simpler, low key examples. You're like, no way, it was a big deal. But maybe not this huge life event, but it illustrates my point that I'm about to make really well. Lizette, organizing your garage, you had to pump yourself up to motivate, and you had to take it one step at a time. I like it. Joanna, you brought up that motivating seniors to apply for scholarships. So those things you had to come along the way, you had to figure out along the way was just learning about the process yourself, right? And about FAFSA, which is a world in and of itself. Yeah. I love it. Started strength training. You had to get up or give up walking in the mornings and push myself mentally. Gotcha. I love it. So here's the point. Great examples in the chat window, right? What you just did was you highlighted the finish line. But in order to cross that finish line, there were certain problems you had to solve along the way. And that's really the skill that we're trying to teach here. What are those problems that bump up? Of course, you talk to anybody, and usually people can vocalize things they want to accomplish, but it's those hurdles that come up that kind of keep us and prevent us from ultimately accomplishing those things. And when it comes to our kids, same thing. There are going to be these problems that pop up that, quite frankly, they are scared of failure or they don't know how to even address those problems, and so they never even try. And so problem solving becomes this ultimate skill. And by the way, this question and process I just went through you is very valuable. It's something you can even do with students to help them recognize that whether they realize it or not, they've probably done some problem solving without knowing that that's what they were doing. And that can be a place to build. So I wanted to point that out. Thanks for going through that process with me. So problem solving. Let's talk about why try. I'm going to model a couple of things here. I'm going to do some explanations around it. And then Jason is going to actually jump a little deeper into the actual problem solving steps and an activity to kind of highlight that. I'm going to focus more on explaining a bigger picture here, as well as doing some fun things with video. So, here is our secondary metaphor. This is the metaphor that we build towards. Jason's going to show this one a little bit more and talk about the steps of problem solving. You can see it there in the secondary metaphor. When we get to this metaphor, we really explicitly go through and start to highlight what the steps to problem solving are. But to get there, we use different metaphors to build towards that. And so we start with metaphors in a very simple way. A lot of times they are used with the primary grades and they start to level up from there. But we're going to start off really simple with something that our primary age children can relate to. And that is the idea of learning to do something that's kind of difficult and you fail at it. And the only way you really succeed is to try and try again. So we start simple with something like riding a bike. It might be riding a scooter. It might be anything like that that a lot of times our primary age kids are learning how to do. From there, we adopt this idea of learning about hurdles, because hurdles become this almost perfect metaphor for teaching about problem solving. In fact, I think I want to throw this question at you. What makes this metaphor of a hurdle representing our problems such a good metaphor? In all of the why try metaphors, we come up with some things, and sometimes they're out of left field and you don't expect them. But in everyday life, many times people refer to their problems as hurdles. Why? Why is a hurdle kind of a good metaphor for a problem? Any thoughts there in the chat window? Andrew, love it. 100%, right? I love that. Any others? I'm going to come back to what Andrew stated, but okay. Something in your path that you have to overcome, right? Yeah. Love it. Some great ideas there. Sometimes hurdles are higher than you are expect. You're confident in your own ability to jump over that hurdle. And maybe that represents problems that are a little too out of your control. And there's certain problems you have to jump before you can handle that higher hurdle. I love it. Andrew did mention there at the beginning, I'm going to forget if I just don't talk about it right now. So Andrew mentioned that idea of technique. That's a big part of this as well. You don't necessarily see the technique taking place in this image of the hurdle with these hurdles down there in the bottom, But, an athlete learns a form to allow them to jump a hurdle. And if they don't learn that form, they're more likely going to fail. And so when it comes to problem solving, if we can learn a formula that we apply to our problems, we are much more likely to succeed. So yeah, I love it. Yeah, there's different levels of difficulties for different people, right? I love it. It does stand in your way. You're not going to go around them. It's something that you have to try to go over. Sometimes they're unexpected. I love it. This idea of stretching yourself. Excellent. Oh, Lizette, I like that idea of risk. Awesome. Love your ideas there. So we're going to tap into some of these different principles to teach what problem solving looks like. As you can see, we introduced the hurdle, just a single hurdle to introduce the idea that, look, to jump this hurdle, there's certain strategies that we're going to take. Then we add in multiple hurdles to show that actually you're going to constantly be facing multiple problems as you try to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. And then ultimately, we lead to that secondary metaphor. We have different objectives that we're going to try to cover with these different hurdles. They're popping up on the screen. For sake of time, I'm not going to sit and read through each one of them. You'll probably glance and read a few of them as you're going. But these are definitely objectives. It's not just as simple as, hey, we teach problem solving. There's actually layers to this that we're going to teach, all the way from believing in myself that I can do it, recognizing that I do have hurdles in my life, understanding that that stands in the way of something I want to accomplish. Like all of these are layers that are ultimately going to lead to that biggest idea of there are problem solving steps. So how do we go about that? Well, here is another image. It wasn't on the quad there that I showed you before, but this is another metaphor that we use, right? And this is an important principle of hurdles, and that is this. Somebody in the chat window, what is taking place in this image? What do you see going on here? Yeah, she's kind of tripping over this hurdle, right? And, I'm sure that creates a lot of emotion, but this is a really, really important principle that is a part of jumping hurdles. And that's the idea that sometimes you're going to make mistakes. Sometimes you're going to trip on those hurdles. Yeah, yeah, right. And it is part of the process because when you trip on a hurdle, it can help teach you something. I want to watch a video to kind of illustrate this point. And so as we watch this video, you're going to be watching a young woman who is in a race and she is jumping hurdles. There's going to be multiple athletes here, but I want you to try to look for and find the person who seems to be leading the pack. Focus on that athlete and let's see what happens.
Go, Lexus, come on. Oh! It's okay, it's okay. Go, Alexis! Go! Go! Go, Alexis! Go! Go! Wow.
Awesome. I love that at the end. You hear like some sibling go, wow. Awesome. Okay. So we watched this video. I have some questions for you. By the way, watching videos and using it to tell story is a part of our why try process. A lot of times we can illustrate and make some connections using video. So I want to do that with you now. You watch that video with me. I have some questions for you that I want to use to process. The first question I want to ask is, so what happened in that video? If you were to paraphrase, summarize, what did you see take place? Nice, Andrew. Great phrasing there. Love it. She may have stumbled, but still pulled back ahead. She got up and finished Destry. And I hope I pronounced your name correctly, but I love just that simple way you put that. She got back up and finished. Yeah, she didn't give up, persevere, got up without hesitating. She didn't let the hurdles stop her. persevered. So great ideas, and you can already see connections on how powerful that can be. Let's keep going with the processing. Are you ready? So how did she respond after she fell down? And I'm not talking about at the end of the video. I'm talking in the moment she fell down. Did you notice what happened? Can you remember her reaction right when she fell down? Okay, she did kind of roll through it. Okay, good. Anyone else? Yeah, she did. She got up quickly. She kept running. Anyone notice anything else? She was surprised. Yeah, Lizette, despite the fact that her training kicked in, she was a little surprised, and you saw that in her body language. In fact, and I know you only saw it once, and if I had the time, if I was doing this with students, I would probably go back and watch that one moment again. But if you were to watch that moment again, she definitely looked surprised, and she even put her hands up like, oh. So there was a moment of panic there. Yeah, definitely. Let me ask you this. What things do you think helped her get up after she fell? Yeah, I love it. Definitely, Jennifer, you picked up on that. There were some people cheering to her, and you could tell she heard it, right? Yeah, Tamika. I love that. So a lot of times when we go through life, and even when we're trying to solve problems, when we make mistakes and fall down, there are other people who can support us and help us. It's important to be able to find those supports. I bring that up because I want to point out that all of our units and all of the skills that we teach, they actually overlap and support one another, because this is a big part of that whole relationship and getting plugged in piece. But yeah, definitely, there's a lot of cheering there. I love it. So do we ever fall or make mistakes in life? I'm going to skip through these for sake of time, but you get the idea. This is how we would now start and connect this with our lives and with our students' lives, and start to make connections with this principle of problem solving, and helping them realize that falling down and making mistakes is part of the process of jumping hurdles. Everybody's going to trip at some point, and it's okay. We get back up and we keep running, right? So definitely. Okay, so you get the idea. That was just one aspect of the idea of jumping hurdles, that we're going to take a video and we're going to walk through it, create a story, and really try to drive home some beliefs and thoughts about what it means to jump hurdles and what it means to problem solve. These aren't necessarily, and you're going to see when Jason goes through it, even one of the steps of problem solving is recognizing that, failure is part of the process, and getting back up and keeping going. But sometimes you want to spend a little extra time doing that. I want to point out something else with regards to problem solving, again, using video. So let's watch another video. To do that, I want to bring up this metaphor. So another one of our metaphors that we use is this idea that, you're not just going to face one hurdle in your life, but in reality, there are multiple hurdles that we go through. And even one thing we want to accomplish, a lot of times there's multiple jumps and multiple problems that we've got to figure out and solve. And you've got to be prepared for that. And if you trip on one, it's okay. You keep running and you keep trying to apply that problem solving model. But it's important to recognize that sometimes there are multiple problems that you have to confront. And I want to watch a video to kind of explore that a little bit as well. Are you ready? So we're going to watch a new video. This one's called The World's Longest Trick Shot. And well, let's get it started. I'm going to pause it pretty early on. Let's see where this goes. Okay, I'm going to stop it for a moment. I meant to pause it. I hit stopped. Sorry about that. Your screen went white. So let me ask you, you saw the beginning of this video. What do you think's about to happen here? I said it's called The World's Longest Trick Shot. You saw the beginning. Any guesses? Maybe more than a basketball shot? That's probably safe. Any other thoughts? What do you think's about to happen here? He has to do some tricks to make the shot. I like it. Maybe some creativity. Thank you, Lizette, Pamela, Courtney. Let's see. Without further ado, let me pull back the curtain.
Let's go.
Okay. I love that video. Processing questions. Yeah, for sure, right? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what we just saw. So let me ask you, well, I'm going to skip this one for sake of time. What happened in the video? Obviously, you'd kind of share some things back to me there, but I want to get to some specific other questions really quick. I want to ask you, so how long do you think it took him to put that together and get it to work? Yeah, Courtney, right? Many trials and errors, weeks of work, maybe months. Yeah, definitely took a long time. I think we can appreciate that. Let me ask you this. What problems do you think he ran into as he did this project? Like, think about this and what you just saw there. What are some of the problems that probably came up? Okay, yeah, things not quite aligned for sure. Yeah, how do you make sure certain parts don't fall? Maybe weather's animals disrupting it, some math. I like that you brought up frustration, Lizette. Definitely some of that not fitting in. So lots of different problems potentially were things that he had to face. So let me ask you this. Why did he deal with those problems? Like, why not just walk away? Why do you think he kept going? Okay, Andrew, yeah. He had a goal in mind. I agree. He probably had this finish line, right? Definitely passionate. He wanted to achieve his goal. I agree. Yeah. And I kind of asked that question. That's kind of redundant. I apologize. What do you think might have motivated him? And some of you already brought that up. I like that, Susan. He really believed in himself that he could do this here, right? Like he was like, I got this. And there was frustration along the way, but I think that belief in himself probably kept him going. Any other things you think might helped keep him going there? Likes on YouTube, Catherine. Yeah. Okay. For sure. Awesome. Hey, for sake of time, I'm going to keep going. I really would love to keep processing. I want to ask one more question. This one's critical. Do you think it was worth the time and effort he put in to go through all of that problem solving? And how do you know? Did you see that? Right, Lizette? That emotion at the very end is worth watching the 3-minute video. It is brilliant. Oh, you know what? My video's messed up. I was going to show you it again. I don't want to go there, but yeah, you saw his face. He was so pleased with himself and so happy that he was able to do that. Made it totally worth it. And that was a great example of the fact that there is a lot of problem solving that took place, but it's worth it. And once you start to learn the process that you apply to your problems and you start to experience some success and you realize I can do this, it really can propel you forward. Okay, I'm going to kick it over to Jason now. I wanted to kind of highlight just an overall idea of what jumping hurdles is all about, what problem solving is all about, as well as show how we use video to reinforce some of those principles. Jason, you're up next, though. Take it home.
Thank you, Corey. Great job. Really awesome, masterful demonstration of what you've kind of heard us allude to throughout this idea of the why try approach. So we've been around organizationally for almost 20 years. And throughout that time, we have continually honed and fine-tuned this approach. So not only do we have we fine-tuned the skills of resilience that we're teaching, but also we've really tried to fine-tune how we teach it. So I'm going to share with you real quickly before I demonstrate a few more pieces for you. I want to share with you a simple overview to this approach that I think is a pretty simple and concise explanation of what we try to do when we teach the skills of resilience. And Corey just modeled it perfectly. So we essentially have 3 steps that we try to follow whenever we teach the skills of resilience. And this simplified approach is as follows. Number 1, we start with a picture. We really put a high value in using visual metaphors and images as teaching tools. And so for our 10 learning, our 10 skills of resilience, those 10 kind of learner objectives, we have a series of images that we use that accompany each one. So we start with the picture. In this case, Corey started with an image of a hurdle. He actually had several versions of it that might appeal to different age group individuals. After we start with the picture, then we want to know our key concept and connect that concept to the picture. So in this case, we are talking about problem solving. That's like our big skill of resilience that we're connecting. So Corey started with a hurdle as an image, and then he connected it to this concept of problem solving or trying to overcome a challenge in life. Then the third step is we want to make it engaging, and we make it engaging by using activities, media, etc. And so Corey brought 2 videos. Now, within our material, we have curated a whole list of video clips that we use to help supplement the teaching. Corey referenced a couple of those that are great videos to help create engagement, and then to also help process these concepts that you're teaching. So I want to continue this theme. We're going to stay on the topic of problem solving. That's our big picture skill of resilience. By the way, one other note, I was just thinking kind of about my own connection to the topic of resilience and problem solving. And I think problem solving is such a critical skill of resilience, because resilience just by nature is really a measurement or an observation of a person's response to a challenge. In fact, when you really dig into resilience, it turns out like it's tough to measure actual resilience without the presence of a problem or a challenge to really see the response to. And it's part of why this is so important for all of us. It's universally important, resilience is. But for a lot of our kiddos, they have big, complex challenges that are part of their lives that are really tough to navigate through. Now, we're looking at kind of 2 different levels of challenges. There's some challenges that are big, complex things that are part of a person's life or part of their history that you can't just wave a magic wand and make go away. For those type of things, we may be looking at some different skills of resilience to build in to cope with those and try to thrive throughout those. There's other challenges that are like day-to-day problems. It's like a thing that I have in front of me that's kind of a problem in my life, that it's maybe something, a goal I have to work towards, or something I've given myself that I want to do. That would be like a typical problem that we can take a very logical problem solving approach towards. And that's what I want to model for you now with my section. So I'm going to go back to a visual metaphor. This is one Corey brought up earlier, and I'm going to go through it very quickly because I want to be respectful of everybody's time. But that image Corey brought up earlier of the hurdle has actually some real depth to it when you dig into the visual metaphor that we have. So all of our visual metaphors, the approach we take is we really lean heavily on processing. You've heard that term used a lot. Processing is essentially using open-ended questions to try to guide a discussion, and processing is really designed to facilitate the concept a lot of us really believe in, which is learning by discovery. If I can ask the right questions and help you start to kind of head through this visual metaphor, then eventually the hope is that you'll discover a connection between this concept and your life. Specifically, in this case, this concept and some problem, some challenge that you may be working towards. So when we process, we start off just typical imagery about jumping over things. What can I jump over? What have I jumped over? Why should I try to jump my hurdle? And then we want to workshop with our kiddos, have them identify some problem in their life that they want to try to overcome, some challenge that's in front of them that the hurdle represents. And then we have the 6 loops of the shoe here, the shoelace, that represent a simple 6-step problem-solving model that we teach. Number 1, we identify the problem. Number two, we want to help our kiddos learn to come up with creative options. In my opinion, this is one of the most important skills we can teach anybody. Human nature is kind of to reduce complex problems to these simple kind of conflicting binary approaches. Either I have to do this or I have to do that. And more often than not, the best solution through a problem or around a problem is some type of creative option that can kind of see its way through that. And so helping kiddos learn how to come up with creative options towards a problem is such a critical skill of resilience. That's part of the reason I love that video that Corey shared with the kiddo that made the world's greatest trick shot, right? That is a really complex thing that he did and couldn't just take like a simple get from point A to point B. There was a very complex and creative solution through there. And resilient individuals are typically pretty creative problem solvers. It's why it's such a universal skill, and it applies to everybody. All walks of life need to learn how to become creative problem solvers. Step 3, get some help. It turns out that getting help is not a weakness. And one of our best resources to be creative are the people that are around us. And we want to help our kiddos recognize that they have people around them, hopefully some caring adults that they acknowledge that can also serve as a good resource towards problem solving. Number 4, take action. What specific behavior do I need to stop or add to jump my hurdle? Stop behaviors, added behaviors. Again, kind of this logical, practical approach. Believe in change. It's always good to assess our hope or our belief towards whatever problem we're trying to overcome. And if our belief is low, then we may want to back up and try our hand at a different problem right now, and then come back around to this one after we've built up a little confidence towards it. And then step 6, jump back up. And this is the other one that's really, really critical. We really want to help develop the habit of getting back up, even if we fall down. Another reason I love that first video Corey showed is it shows the value of getting back up, not quitting, still finishing the race, even though we may have a setback, we may take a fall. So there's lots of different ways that we can reinforce these concepts. We can do this through media. We can do this through video clips. We can also do this through activities. And so I want to model for you now an activity. This is one of my favorite activities. It's actually a game that I want to play with. Well, I probably have time for one. I want to teach this game preferably to someone who hasn't played it before. It's a game called 15 Pencils. And I will warn you, for whatever reason, I've got kind of a knack at 15 pencils. I don't know why. I'm just naturally pretty good at it. In fact, if you've ever stayed up late watching like ESPN 8, watching the Ocho, you might have seen my name on some 15 pencil leaderboards. But this is a great example of how we can teach and connect back to a problem solving model. Any brave soul willing to volunteer for me to teach them how to play 15 pencils live on air here? And oh, Courtney, you are the best. What I'm going to do, Courtney, I'm going to set it up so that you can actually talk. We are going live on air here. Courtney, can you hear me if you unmute?
Yes, I can.
Courtney, thank you for volunteering. How are you doing today?
Not too bad.
So you have volunteered to play 15 pencils with me. Have you ever played it before?
Not at all.
Perfect. Well, thank you for volunteering. Courtney, tell the world where you're at.
I am in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
Green Bay, Wisconsin, where it is a balmy 56 degrees to the point that you have not even worn a jacket in 3 days.
It's been a beautiful thing because we don't really get that in February.
I love it. Oh, look at that. You've got some fellow Pack fans. I'm not going to admit that I'm a Broncos fan right now.
Someone
But
has to be.
we can talk later. Courtney, are you a competitive person?
A little bit.
Awesome. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play some friendly rounds of 15 pencils. Let me teach you how it goes. So the goal of 15 pencils is you and I are going to go back and forth and take turns. And on your turn, you have to remove either 1, 2, or 3 pencils. You get to choose how many pencils you remove on your turn, but it does have to either be 1, 2, or 3. We're going to go back and forth until somebody is left with the last pencil. Whoever gets stuck with the last pencil loses. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, Courtney, you are my guest. Would you like to go first or second in this round of 15 pencils?
I would like to receive.
Okay, you're okay. So that means I have to go first.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so 1, 2, or 3 pencils. Oh, I'm gonna start small. I'll choose one pencil. Courtney, how many would you like to choose? 1, 2, or 3 to be removed?
3.
Okay. I like it. I'm gonna take 2. You're up. How many would you like removed?
1.
Okay. I'm gonna take 3. And you are up. How many would you like to remove?
Ah, dang it. I see what I did there. Uh, 3.
All right. And I will remove 1 and leave that last pencil. Now, here's the good news. You have never played before, so that one will not count on your permanent 15 pencils record. That's just a practice round. Courtney, have you got another round in you? You good for another one?
Oh, yeah.
Let's go. You're still my guest. Are you going first or second?
I'll go first this time.
How many do you choose?
2.
Okay. I will choose 1.
2 again.
Okay. I will choose 1.
1.
I'll choose 3.
Ah, dang it. 3.
I will choose 1. All right. All right, Courtney, you're getting better at this. I can tell, though. Do you have one more round? In the interest of time, I say we go 1 round, then we process, and then I am going to give you a shot at redemption, Courtney. But maybe you'll get me this round. I don't want to get ahead of myself. You're still my guest. Would you like to go first or second?
You go first this time.
Okay, my turn. I think I took 1 last time. You took 2 last time. I can either start with 3, try a different number. It worked for you. Actually, it didn't work for you, but I'm going to try it anyway. I'm going to take 2.
3.
Okay, I'll take 1.
2.
I'll take 2.
Ah, dang it. Oh, okay. 3.
I feel like this is like a Broncos AFC Packers NFC matchup in the Super Bowl. I'm going to take 1, by the way, and drop that last pencil on you. And Courtney, this is you have been a phenomenal guest. Everybody give Courtney a round of applause. In the interest of time, I would like to process, and then we're gonna circle back around to this. So I'm going to disable talking on you for just a minute.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna process, and then we'll come back around. So we do, as part of this approach, we want to do things to make it engaging. We just played a game. Now somehow we have to connect our game, our activity, to a learning concept. The way we do that is through our processing. It's through the questions that we ask. So let's process together. First question is this. Go ahead and respond in the chat. And this is for everybody, not just Courtney. What made this game potentially difficult? Not knowing the outcome. The math. One person. Okay, that's an interesting one. Milena, one person had a lot of experience, the other didn't. Did it ever feel like I perhaps knew something that my opponent didn't? Yeah, and sometimes the speed of it. And does life ever feel like that, by the way? I get on, this is why I don't like social media. I look on social media and I know it's all fake, but I look around and I go, why has everybody else figured this out so much better than I have? It feels like everybody's doing better than I am. But sometimes life feels like that, right? We're going through difficult times and we look around and we go, why is this not working for me? Was anybody able to figure out a pattern? There is a pattern that can give you a huge advantage in this game. Any hypotheses on what that pattern is? Anybody have any guesses as to a strategy or a pattern? Okay, increments of 3. I like it, Courtney. I like the way you're thinking. 5, maybe start taking larger. Okay, I love it. This is all part of the problem-solving model. It turns out trial and error is one of our most important ways of solving a problem. There's an interview we have linked to the kid that made that trick shot, and he talks about his process. It was trial and error. So sometimes the best way to learn something is to try it, not be successful at it, and then continue to try and get better. And I'm very confident if we had more time, that Courtney would have started to pick up some interesting strategies along the way. By the way, well, was it? How did that feel? Was that frustrating as I was being snarky? I was having so much fun, and with my with my with my 15 pencils games. How did it feel though watching the person you were cheering for? Courtney, that's because you're a good sport. Sometimes it can be really frustrating, even to the point of discouragement, right? So there's a pattern that I can teach you that can help you win 15 pencils almost every time. Similarly, there's a pattern that I can teach you to help you be much more successful when it comes to solving problems. So there is our connection point. We've now connected our activity directly to our teaching concept, which is all about problem solving. I can teach you the pattern to win the game, 15 pencils. I can teach you the pattern to solve problems, which I already presented to you in front of that hurdle. So let me ask you this question. What's going to give us more success in life, playing our luck or following the formula? Just broadly speaking, which is going to give us more success? Now, it may depend, Courtney, and you're not wrong there. I have certainly been the recipient of luck at multiple times in my life. That being said, if I'm really trying to play the odds, the formula is usually going to be our most reliable option. So we want to start with a good formula, and then hopefully the formula puts us in place to also be the recipient of good luck from time to time. All right, Courtney, I would like to teach you and anybody else that's interested in listening the formula so that you can become a 15 pencils champ. And we may go just a couple minutes over the hour. I hope that's okay. We're going to put up a link to make sure you can get access to some of these resources and walkthroughs as well. So here's the formula to win at 15 pencils. It's actually fairly simple. There's 3 magic numbers. And if you can get to any of those numbers first, you can guarantee a win. The 3 numbers are 2, 6, and 10. So the surest formula to win 15 pencils is to go first and to choose 2. Then it doesn't matter what the next person picks because you're going to be able to get to the next magic number, which is 6. If they choose 1, you'll choose 3. Once you're at 6, it doesn't matter what the other person picks because you're going to be able to get to the next magic number, which is 10. If they choose 2, you'll choose 2. And then once you're at 10, as Courtney started to figure out, 10, you're in the driver's seat. You've guaranteed a win. Doesn't matter what they pick. If they pick 3, you'll pick 1, and you can guarantee that win. So, Courtney, you can unmute yourself. Are you ready for a rematch now, Courtney, that you have been taught the formula?
As long as this ain't the NFC Championship, yeah.
Jordan Love's not coming through that door right now. All Green Bay's hopes and dreams rest on the shoulders of you, Courtney. You are still my guest. Would you like to go first or second? Hint, go first.
I was already there because I wrote it down, 2, 6, 10. So I'm going first.
Okay, how many would you like to choose?
2.
Okay. Now, by the way, when I get nervous, I get a little bit chatty, and I'm going to probably see if I can talk you out of your answers. So we'll see how well you hold your ground. Are you sure you want to? I will give you the opportunity to change that answer if you'd like.
I'm good.
Courtney, I can tell you are a cold-blooded competitor. I choose 1.
3.
Are you sure?
Yup.
Courtney, your confidence has me shook a little bit. I'm usually so good at this game. I would like to choose 2.
2.
All right. This is the last generous offer I'm going to give. I'll let you pick a different number if you would like.
Nah, I'm good.
Courtney chooses 2. I will choose 1. How many would you like to choose, Courtney?
I will go with 3, Bob.
Ladies and gentlemen, give a big round of applause for our newest 15 pencils champion. Courtney, you are the champion. The people are cheering for you. I will alert the officials in the Green Bay, Wisconsin area. I'm not sure what their protocol is. I don't know if the news will reach out to you or not. But you are now the 15 pencils champ, which means you have to deal with all the responsibility that comes with that. And I hope you'll take this championship seriously. Go out and get some dubs. Play 15 pencils with your closest friends and your students.
Oh, I'm playing it with my students, and I'm gonna really enjoy it.
I love it. So then we make thank you, Courtney. You were a great sport. Then we make a direct connection back to our teaching concept, in this case, which is problem solving. And there's some really nice parallels between what it takes to follow the formula and win this game towards following the formula that I presented before with the hurdle to solve problems. Big deep breath. Our hour is up. I can't believe it always goes so fast. And I want to be respectful of time. So we have outlined for you this model and this approach, which involves identifying a key concept, connecting it to a visual metaphor, and making it engaging. Corey's modeled some great aspects of walking through that and using video and media. I tried to model using an activity and processing questions for that. We're going to stick around and we'll answer some questions, but I just want to conclude by thanking you. I'm always inspired and motivated by seeing who turns up at these, and your questions and your commitment to really trying to take whatever best practices you can and use them to help teach kiddos these skills of resilience always inspires me. Corey, what would you like to add to the end of this webinar?
Nothing. I love the 3-word thing. You guys are getting close. Almost the end of the school year. Thank you for being here, all your hard work, but yeah, I don't have anything else.
Okay, well, give all of yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for showing up. I'm going to put up a QR code here. It's going to take you to a page and ask you to take a survey. If you'll take that survey, then you'll be sent a link that will have information on how to access our resilience bundle. And we want to share with you resources from today, which will include some walkthrough sample lessons. I think it'll also have an outline of some of the hurdle processing questions. And I believe it will have an outline of 15 pencils as well. So if you're willing to do that, we would definitely appreciate it, and we'll get you some of the resources. And then otherwise, just want to conclude by thanking you all for showing up. Thank you for continuing to show up. This has turned into a really fun community, this webinar community. I'm always impressed with you. Usually I end, but we're already over time, by having the panelists talk about something that's giving them hope right now. In lieu of that, I'm just going to thank you all for showing up. This is that time of year where it's really easy to start to become exhausted. With everything, it's usually a long year at this point. And I hope that this type of thing charges your batteries a little bit. I'm excited for you to get access to some of these resources. Reach out to us. I got Corey in my email up there if you need to get a hold of us. And otherwise,
You're welcome.
yeah, if that QR code isn't working, if you don't have a phone in front of you, send us an email, Casey. You can email info@ytri.org, or you can email Corey or Jason at ytri.org. But otherwise, thank you so much for showing up. Go have a great afternoon. Have a great week. We're almost to the weekend. And we've got another one of these next week. We've got a great group out of Tennessee we're going to be highlighting. Hope to see you all back. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to play us